All right, I'll go ahead and start. See you back there. Back there. Jacob. I didn't see you back there. Oh shit, sorry. I guess I didn't see you walk in. I saw other people walking. All right, we're going to finish 5 today. May not take us real long. The other class I went out 15 minutes early, close to 2 early. Students on how fast you go over this stuff. But first thing, have y'all got any questions on all of that we did about where we did going through and just looking at the numbers? Not really doing conversions, we're doing conversions today. But you understand that call values of the number systems, basic stuff about number systems. Do we have that part? Okay. Then I'm going to erase that off the board. Then we're going to start on conversions. And all that is the note to me. I'm going to try to stay, which number system we're in. I'm going to try to stay with the color for you. Okay, so that everything I do up here with binary, I'm going to try to put in the black, text decimal in green, and decimal in blue. And that's just to try to make it a little easier for y'all to keep up with. So I see you got pretty good when we did that the other day. Mind you, the color's got absolutely no meaning to it, and when you see the stuff later, it's all going to be single code. Just to sort of organize it. All right, you are going to use this stuff you're learning in here. Probably, I think it's module 7 that we'll get back into this to a big degree of. As we look at subnetting there, we'll actually, as we start on 6, we should be doing some of 6 too, but we won't get subnetting until I believe it's 7 or 8. I'm not sure which right now. But coming up thereafter. Okay. And you'll definitely use number systems in that part. They'll come up on some other stuff along the way too. So it's not something you're just learning right here. Nothing else having to do. Okay. But when you look at IP version 6 addresses, they'll come back into play there too. And when we look at MAC addresses, this comes into play some there for you. Okay. So just be aware on that. So you're going to see different things about number systems appear in different places that you have to deal with. All right. The other one is I do have Tuesday's lectures and Language Collaborate session from the 2451 classes all posted out there, I believe, except for y'all. Yeah. I didn't get it recorded apparently this morning for this stuff. But y'all's is out there actually, that's for me. But I do have those chapters 3, 4, and 5 5, except I don't have today's work, obviously. Because I posted the last one of those this morning about 6 o'clock. I'll try to get today's stuff out there real quickly too. I'm trying, but I'm having to having to download the file. And in some cases, in a lot of cases, I forgot to hit the button that says allow download of the file. And so I have to go back and reopen the session, check that button. And I just have to reopen it for like 2 minutes or whatever, just for a short time period. And then check that box, save it, and I don't have to wait for it to reach its endpoint again. And I'm not doing a recording anyway at that point. That frees it in where I can download the recording. So then I can download it. That takes a minute or two on my machine at home. And then uploading takes somewhere 15 to 20 minutes is what it seems like it's been doing for me online. And I uploaded about 6 of them, I think, in the last 2 days. I was putting them out there one way from YouTube, because I can upload them to YouTube. That takes the time. And then when I went to put the links into Blackboard, I was using the API on it approach, which when you look at those out there in the collaborative recordings, where I've got that extra link out there, you'll see some of them are showing a picture of the recording and stuff, and against your box there. That's where it's literally connected back to the YouTube one. Only thing is, they only let you do 1 or 2 a day, apparently. Because I went to do a second or a third one the other night. After I had uploaded 1, and I may have uploaded 2, but I had not uploaded any more than that. And the next one I went to upload said I had exceeded the number that I was allowed to do per day. And I was going. And they said that was to prevent the system from being abused by people putting too much on there too quickly. And I'm going, yeah, I would say it definitely prevents it from being abused. It pretty much prevents it from being used. So now I'm just putting like I used to do, because that was a mashup song. Now I'm putting them back in. I just put the line there with the link in the middle of the line. If you click on the word link, it says quick link. View the video and links on hotspot there. If you click it, it opens up at YouTube. So it gets you the same thing either way, except one fancier than another. I like the fancier one, look nice there, but obviously YouTube's not going to let me do that. Or very limited. I'm going, no, I can't just upload 1 or 2 a day. I'm producing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, at least 9 videos a week. 5 of them on Monday, 2 on Tuesday, 2 on Thursday. And that just isn't going to work on 1 or 2 a day. Obviously, if it was 1 a day, I could get them all that way. I scattered them over the weekend. I'm trying to get them all caught up to like the Monday ones and to start putting them out there that same week. But I don't know how I'm going to do quite well on that, but I'm just trying. Also, I'm going to try to get some graded y'all stuff out there. So I have graded first assignments or whatever for y'all's class. 2451. I have graded stuff in a couple of different classes. It's 2601, I've graded something in 2413, I've graded stuff in 1220, I have not. This one I have not. 2454 haven't turned in yet. And 2550 I haven't. I need to get those, but question on when. Because also got great discussions for this week. I haven't touched that. Yesterday is when I was trying to start doing them on Wednesdays. I ended up spending a large amount of the day helping a student in the Photoshop class, which I'm not teaching. But he's over there on the Whopper campus. And so I'm the only one there, so he's getting help from that. And I was answering emails, and I'm still getting all of those. And to top it all off, Julia Hopkins, who's one of our instructors wrong, is out now, whatever, I'm not sure what, not able to work on stuff. So yesterday, they gave each of the three of us here one of her classes to catch up on because she was worried about them getting behind. And so I worked on that a little last night. I looked at it and realized their assignment for this week stuff had not been posted out yet. So I got that put in early this morning, actually. And where it's supposed to be due tomorrow, I picked a good date next Tuesday or Wednesday to give them a chance to do it. And one student had written me somewhere during the night, so I wrote them this week. I couldn't tell about what they have a problem to contact me. And one wrote and said that he had looked at the student guide, was using the student guide for due dates and didn't realize the chapter 3 assignment was due yet. And that he hadn't turned it in. And when not due date, he said in the official student guide, I was going, the official student guide, that's a new name for it. The student guide I knew, and student guide doesn't give you dates of deadlines. It just tells you we're planning to do chapter 1 in week 1, chapter 2 in week 2, so on down. It should have some materials. The other was just a very rough, just what's on the back of your syllabus. Okay, but there's no dates in it. And I was going, okay, well then, when I went and I had actually changed some dates for tonight, I had set 3 and 4 up. And I forgot I had done 3 when I was doing that. And I wrote up, and then I looked at his picture he sent me of what he sent up at 2 screens he said were not matching. Well, the due dates official student guide that he was talking about actually was just where she's got a sheet with due dates that I don't have in my classes. Okay. And that was where I thought that stuff was due tomorrow. Actually said chapter 3 was due tomorrow on that. And he had a picture from the assignment that said, that showed the date that the assignment was due. He didn't look at the whole date. It said it was due on January the 27th. That's as far as the person had looked. As it said, it was due January the 27th, 2019. So I think he was rather late on turning it in definitely by that date on there. Wasn't even in the class, but it was due according to that. And that's what I had caught last evening, and then fixed through the night. But I laid down early to back up. And so I thought and fixed that one and set it. And I didn't set it as January 31st, because that's small. So that's not fair. And so I picked Tuesday, I believe it was, to set it on. I know it's shorter than I had, but I went ahead and set chapter 4, which I think next Friday got the stuff set up there. And so I didn't get back on schedule. And I could set. And I know what she was doing. She announced it sometime last week. So she had, whenever she got whatever happened, I don't know what's going on. That it was apparently right before she was doing her updates this next week that she's updating as she goes. In my classes, except for the 4451, I've got everything out there set all up for the whole semester, except for in the 2601, tests are not activated in there because that Cisco goes crazy on activations when we change time. So if I set them all, and I had done that in the past, set them all up for the whole semester, and then the week that weekend that we changed either forward or back some time, not the spring or fall, but changed time, and every one of my activations went crazy with weird stuff for dates. And so since then, I've gone, no, I'm not activating more than typically the next week, or sometimes I may have to be a week beyond that to go ahead and set stuff up open in the future. Like if I'm going to be out next week, for instance, I'm not, but there is a week later in the semester, I will be out in a couple of days. I'll be out in a day. Could set up then, but it's only one, and it's big, but all I do is one thing. This class is an exception to 3.1s, but I have not. I've only got the course set up through module 12, and we will go through all 17 modules. So the rest of it will get set up out there. But when I was setting up, that's when I ran out of time to start. Because I got to go in and look to see which assignments I need to get y'all out of the stuff, and Word, and if I'm worried on stuff that and then discussion turn on set up either. I don't have, it doesn't affect y'all, but it does affect all my online classes. I don't have next week's discussion set up yet, for instance. I don't do something until the week. Typically in the past days when I would set them up, I don't even know when I'm going to do it on next week. It's sort of like I'm really still going to get an article, newspaper article written real quick. It should be by Sunday. Last week I wrote it on Wednesday, and I don't have it done yet. But I don't have any idea right at the moment of what to write on. So I basically going to be correct here. And once in a while I did. So I was going to try it last week, but I missed by a day or two. I'll get back on the schedule. I'm going to do this one way. Sunday, no. Think about it. Tuesday, I think. I'll get it done last night. All right, now, so let's look at, let's try and figure out something to write on. And I try to write my newspaper articles on basic things about technology and computing. And try to figure out something that's basic and something I haven't written on recently, although I'll write on stuff I've written a year or past. But try not to repeat stuff very often. Trying to think of something that somebody would be asking me about on. I've quite figured that one out. I say, realistically, I need to be figuring two of them out if I'm going to write one tonight. So you go ahead and have the idea for the next one that I'll do on Sunday night. A lot of times people want to ask me a question during the week, and I'll go, that wouldn't perfect. Somebody asked me about something, and I'll go, yeah, I can write something about that or something off of that. So I haven't had anything that's really caught me. I keep thinking when I walk in the classrooms and stuff, I'll see something or whatever. But then maybe thinking about it, maybe doing something on power, decimal, hexadecimal, and binary use with computers. Maybe one, because this should be something about 500 words long. It's about where I try to keep articles to. They told me sometimes they're a little shorter, sometimes they're long. Maybe that's the problem. On it, and that's what we've been dealing with here. So we will start with binary and decimal. So I want to bring the pen down. Let's go with first of how to convert from binary to decimal. Okay. So I'm going to create a binary number up here. And these are just something out of my head. Okay? So we're going to want to go from binary and convert it to decimal. So we follow on that. Now, we're going to use equivalent signs right there because equal sign's not exactly right, but you really can't say something just expressed a different way is equal to itself. although you'll see an equal sign quite often used. The equal sign will work for you, but on this point, with what mathematicians tell me, technically I ought to be using the equivalent sign instead of the equal sign. Okay? So if you're sitting there going, wait a minute, what's that tilde doing up there? So now that we've got this one, there's our binary number, and we want to get a decimal number from it. First thing we're going to do is number our columns. Let's begin CIST. So now we're building on the lecture from CIST. Because we're going to do that. So I'm going to have my 1s, my 2s, my 4s, my 8s, and my 16s. Okay? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to take all of the columns that have 1s in them and add them up. So we've got 16, 8, and 2. Believe it or not, that's 2. Okay? Everybody follow with me? Add those numbers up, so that's 16 and 8 is 24, and 2 is 26. And that there is our answer. Okay? So from binary to decimal, all you do is number your columns on the binary number, add up the ones that have 1s in them, and you have your answer. Pretty straightforward. Okay? Y'all need me to do another one of those right now or not? You want one more than? Okay. Another number up. Subscript doesn't count as a column. So now I've got 1101. If I want to convert that, it's going to be, you've got a 1 in the 8s, so the 8, 1 in the 4s, that's 4, and 1 in the 1s, that's 1. We add them up, 8 and 4 is 12, and 1 is 13. Questions on that? If you've got a 1 in the 1s, you're always going to have an odd number. When you convert, just as a bit to you. If you got a 0 there, it's always an even. Okay? All right. Let's do the opposite now. So let's see. I'm going to link for this. Let's go with 37. We're going to convert it back, convert it into binary. We'll end up with base 2 number, right? Now, what we want to do is label our columns till we get to a column that's your number. Same number in the columns we did just a minute ago. Number up till you get one that's greater than the number you got right there. So we're going to have our 1s, our 2s, our 4s, our 8s, our 16s, our 32s, our 64s. We're going to follow on that part. So that's the same as what we did Tuesday. Now, 64 is greater than this, so we're not going to use that column, but that's the way we know we start right after that. Okay? So you don't goof up and stop too quick labeling columns and then end up with something else. Remember, it's a binary number we're trying to get. All it can have is 0s and 1s. So if you go to 2, you find a mistake, which probably is you didn't run the columns in time. Okay? So now 32 will go into 37, right? One time, right? So we'll go 1 in the 32s, and we'll subtract 32 over here. We got 5. Okay? 16 will not go into 5, will it? put a 0 there. 8 won't go either, so a 0 there. 4 will go into 5 one time. We'll put a 1 in the 4s. Subtract 4. 1 left over. 2 won't go into 1, so put a 0. And 1 will go into 1, so put that, subtract the 1, and we've got nothing left. We've run out of columns. If you get down to 0 here, that doesn't mean you quit up here necessarily. If you still got columns you haven't put numbers into, you have to put zeros in. Okay? Trailing zeros are significant. Have to be there. Leading zeros, like here, 64 wouldn't go into 32, so we could have put 0 there if we wanted. It'd be the same number whether there was a 0 there or not. Those leading zeros are not significant. Okay? The trailing zeros are significant. All right, so everybody follow how that one works? Now, keep in mind this one also. If you can do it one direction, you can double check your work by just going back the opposite direction, see if you got back what you started with. If you did, then you should have it right. Okay? So you can work backwards and forwards. It's also possible with what we're going to do, that if you don't remember how to do a number from one direction to another direction, you can work it through. But you can remember all the other stuff, and there's just one direction you forgot how to do. You can always convert it to get where you want to go. If you can remember how to go from decimal to hexadecimal, and hexadecimal to binary, but you can't remember decimal to binary, you can obviously sit there and convert the decimal to a hexadecimal number, and then switch it to binary, and you got your answer anyway. Does everybody follow all that? So if you slip up and go, wait a minute, I can't remember that at all. If you can remember part of it, you may well be able to work your way around it. It's taking a long way to get there. All right, questions on that? All right, so we've done binary and decimal. Let's do decimal and hexadecimal. So if we're going to convert decimal to hexadecimal, we're going to go to hexadecimal. Okay? Now, I'm just trying to think in terms of how I got these numbers to come out here. I think this will be good, because I want them to do certain things for us anyway. So in this case, to do this, we're going to label columns again. But remember, this is hexadecimal, so there are the 1s, the 16s, and you can put the 256, but that's bigger than that, so we know we're not going to use it. Okay? Now it's the 16s. What your question is going to be looking at this is, how many times does 16 go into 185? Should be 11. Okay? As you take 185 divided by 16, you're going to get 1. You're going to have 25 left, and 16 will go in 25. Okay? So everybody follow on that? So, we got 11. We've got to put it in a single column over here. 11's not going to fit in one column. What do we do? It's hexadecimal.
Is it the letter B?
Huh?
Is it the letter B?
It is the letter B. Where did he get the letter B from? We said 10 is A, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 D, 14 E, 15 F. This is where that comes into play. Y'all remember all that now? And you really don't have to remember all 6 of those. If you just remember the top one and the bottom one, you can sit there and think through your process on the others. Me, I pretty much know you throw you right off the bat and you throw me one of A, the B, the F. I can pause and think for a second for the other 3. But obviously I can do them if I know those 3. And the other part is, those are the 2 you're going to see most common as A and F. Seems like more questions or whatever tend to use those. Okay. So it's B. So we're going to put a B in the 16s column. I follow on that part? We're going to do here 11 times 16, and that gives us 176. Actually, I should have done that there. Over there, but I didn't. And so we've used that much of it. What we were doing just a moment ago was we were doing the decimal to binary. I just kept subtracting off the column value. Actually, we were doing like this there too, but it was times 1 every time. So it didn't make any difference because you put a 1 in there, 1 times whatever the column value was. Now it's whatever value you're putting in there. The 11 is a B. Okay, times 16. So we're going to subtract that off there. That leaves 9. And the 1's column is next, so 9 of those 9 times in there, right? So I'll just put a 9 there. Subtract that 9 off, and we're done. So 185 in decimal, convert it to B9 in hexadecimal. Questions on that? I'll go through another one just so y'all can see another one right here. Hopefully I get one that's good. So, we'll do 93. Call that answer because that's not the right answer anymore, right? So again, we'll set our column values right here. The 1's, the 16's, the 256's. And realistically, you're really not probably going to work with the hexadecimal numbers, have them normally have a couple of more than 2 columns. You might, but you're not going to go beyond 3 columns. Okay, so you pretty much just need to like the system. But you know the system to it, so you know where the next column goes from anyway. It's just 16 times 16. Okay. So now 256 won't go over there. 16 will, right? How many times will 16 go into 93? 5 times. So we'll put a 5 here. And this time, we'll do a little better on it. And that gives us 80. So we subtract the 80 from the 93, and we get 13. Everybody with me on that? We're in the 1's column now. It's 13. That's less than 16, so we're okay. But I can't put 13 in there again. So what's my answer that I'm going to put there? D. Somebody else. Angel? 13 is going to be what? It's on the board. Huh? C. No, D, I think. Okay. It's gonna be D, right? Our answer is 5D. Everybody follow on that? So, when you go to take the test, okay, which is after chapter 7, so if you do chapter 7, that's when you do the test. Hope you can do that next week, okay? My suggestion to you is, because when you do your test, you read the instructions on that out there for the test. And I've got notes a couple of places for you on it. Is that when you go take the test, the only thing you're allowed to have is your brain with you. And you have a blank piece of paper and a pen and pencil. Okay? So once you close your stuff up and you're ready to start the test, have that blank piece of paper there. You don't have to hit the start button yet. Okay? You've gotten rid of everything else. You're not supposed to use Google or anything else. Can you use your friend as a helpline? My suggestion to you is on that blank piece of paper before you start is go ahead and write down at least the first and the last one. So that when you get to a question on the test that's got something about that where you've got to get that's a number that should be in one column set to one digit. You'll remember what they are. You could write the whole set of all 6 down there, but if you at least just put the first and the last one, then when you get to question, it's about 13. If you know 10 is A and 15 is F, you can sit there and count it off and mark it in at that point to figure out what it is. So we follow on that? Or you can write the whole thing down. Same thing will go if you go and take a certification test. Once you go in the room, when they put you at the computer, before you hit the actual start button on the certification test, which starts the clock working on it, just like when you hit start online. I'm not sure where it is, the word start, but when you actually start it, you tell it to go. Clock starts running. But before the clock starts running, you can actually jot yourself a few little notes. The other part is while you're taking the test, jot some notes is that if you're reading a question and then you get to another question, you go, wait a minute, there's something from that, and you can go backwards and forwards. Should have it normally set up where it's doing one question at a time. So I'm doing that, or using the screen reader on it to make it easier for them, because it doesn't try to read all of the questions at you, it just read. You can go in and mark it to read just a question, and the screen reader's sitting there for all of y'all. That's where that little microphone is, right there, some other stuff that you can put on it and have it actually read anything to your platform. So now I try to set it where it's just the one question on the screen, and you don't have to go choose it and then select it. You can sit the screen reader each time and read it. But you can do on the real certification test or online test, you need that blank piece of paper. Now, the other part is when you finish, you need to destroy that piece of paper. So it goes to the trash. Okay? Because you can take notes as you're going along, so that as you flip back and forth or think about something, or you get to question number 3, and go, okay, I'm going to go ahead and answer it. I think it's this one. I'm not really sure. You make yourself a little note there to know you get through. If you have time left, go back and look at number 3 again, and maybe something else on the test jogs your memory in terms of it. But sometimes you have the test off. Sometimes there's actually an answer to a question later on the test. You sit to get to it and you go, wait a minute, they just told me the answer to a certain question. Okay? And if it was one you weren't real sure about, you'd taken a guess and you marked down either on the paper, or I don't know if y'all can in Blackboard or not. Can y'all mark questions to go back and review on that towards in there or not when you take the test? And a certification test you can. I'm not sure if y'all can in here, but I really haven't taken tests in Blackboard. Okay, but on certification tests you can. On the certification test, it's really not going to be a piece of paper. They're going to give you a small marker board and hand you one of these markers, and that's what you use to jot any notes or whatever on. When you finish the test, they take the marker and marker board back from you, and they get the print out to it, and everything you mark down is gone. Okay? Used to be they gave you a piece of paper, but nowadays they give you this. But if you go take a certification test and they do that, I'll give you one other hint. Before the person that's in there as the operator, the overview person for the test, before they walk off from you, when they hand you that tin and the board on it, just use just one that's flexible, when it's like hang on the door or whatever, at Walmart. Take the cover off this pen and do a small little mark on that board. Make sure that the pen works. Last one I took that Jan, which I took it up at CIST. When she handed it the board, laid the board down in front of me, handed me the pen, I took the cover off, I went to mark it. It was a good thing, because I would have had to try to get her attention if I hadn't done it then. Then after I'd started the test and went to write something down, I would have had to try to get her attention and we lost time. Okay? So it didn't write. It was either it had invisible ink in it, or it really was dried up, or it had been used completely up. But it didn't work anymore, any of them. So I had to get her inside. Like, whoa, I gotta have a different pen, and I showed her she had a pen. There's no problem on that. But I say, if I had waited to write something down till later in the exam, that exam was the case off because I really hadn't studied for it, not sure what I was into. So I didn't have anything really to write down of things. Because you'll think about other things. The first test I told you, I encouraged you to sit there and write at least the letters for the 7 layers of the OSI. When you get to the final exam, some of these things I remember and use. Okay? So just as a hint to you. All right, questions on that one? So we did 2 of those now, didn't we? Okay, any questions on that? Got my idea of doing that one? So we've done decimal to hex. Let's do hex to decimal. And this TV screen keeps seeming to me that it's sitting out here instead of that far back. So every time I keep moving, it's got some type of perception problem to it that I keep thinking it's further out. So if you see me suddenly stop my head at times, or suddenly look like a duck or something on it, it's because all of a sudden it looks like I'm right there ready to hit the screen. Or what it is on it, but there's something about it. So now to go from hex to decimal. And we'll do 5C. Okay? And we want to get it in the decimal. The letter is the one that's going to give you the extra little work on. The numbers are really straightforward. Because what you're going to do is you're going to take each value up here and multiply it by the value of the columns. Does that make sense? Add them all together. So we're going to do 5 times 16. That's horrible. And we're going to do C times 1. Well, don't know how to do C times 1, do we? So what is C? 12. So it's going to be 12 times 1. So 5 times 16 gives us 80. And 12 times 1 gives us 12. Add them together, we get 92. And there's our answer. that make sense to you? That one pretty straightforward. So this is similar to what you did. Okay. Now we've done binary to decimal, decimal to binary. That one, if you get a little confused later, real simple. Go find my handout there in the module. That's sitting in there inside the folder, and it tells you how to convert from decimal to binary to decimal. Don't have anything on the hex work. That's the part that hasn't been written. But if you got questions on the other part, there is the video from about 15 years ago sitting out there, broken up into about 5 pieces, because back then, if you wanted people to watch video, it was a whole lot better, the speeds of the internet and everything, to keep the pieces down to 10 minutes. So I broke all my videos up typically to 10 minutes. I don't think full ones out there. In some cases, full ones here in the process of breaking it up. So that's there. And then hopefully you'll have today and this morning's session lectures today out there soon. But the other part is you do have the Collaborate session from Monday where I went through with the online students all of this that I'm doing Tuesday and today. So if you want the Reader's Digest version of it, you can go to that one, because I covered everything I covered in Tuesday and today in less than 1 hour, in about 15 minutes of it. Okay? But I actually go through and show it on the computer screen. Whiteboard actually worked well for me. I was surprised. I actually used whiteboard in Blackboard. That's rather weird sounding. I hadn't really used it before. I may have used it a tiny bit, but I really hadn't hardly. And when I went to use the mouse to draw numbers and stuff, it actually worked pretty well for me, drawing lines. And it would straighten some lines out for me. Weird enough for me. Did that first time. Uh-oh. What's it going to do when I go to do a 2? Is it going to turn that into a 1 on me? No. It sort of did straighten a little slope on it and stuff. So it may come, but I did pretty good on drawing them anyway. You can see exactly what they were. All right, questions on that one? Decimal to hex and hex to decimal. Now, the next one we're going to do, we're going to change how we do it. Okay. Now, the one I went through with the binary and decimal, the online materials, I think goes a different way on them. And I don't really understand it. Okay? It doesn't mean it doesn't work. I've had students that told me it made more sense to them than what I did. Okay? That's fine. Whatever way you can come up with it and do the conversions, and there's multiple ways to do it. Whichever one makes sense, use it. Okay? So if that one makes more sense than what I told you, go with that one. If what I told you makes more sense, ignore what they said, do what I told you. Okay? Because you're not going to get asked how did you do it. That's what you get for the answer in the end. Okay? So we follow on that? Now, the next one where we do binary and hex, I'm quite confident what they've got out there is something different from what I'm going to show you. Okay? But when I took this class in 2001, I was having a hard time trying to do binary to hex. And actually, I didn't have very much of the stuff down anyway. I could do binary to decimal, but it wasn't their way. I had done it and learned what I showed you already before that. But hex to binary, I had not done. And what they got, I wasn't, but I think they've got. I'm worried about what they had in previous books, so I'm assuming they're still using the same. I couldn't really catch on to it. And then when my instructor went to show us, he went to show us a different way to do it, which made perfect sense to me and kept it down simple. So that's what I'm going to show y'all. But again, if what they show you makes more sense, stay with them. Okay? So, let's start with we're going to take a binary number and convert it to hex. And I'm going to give you a good size number here. So we'll do 1, 0, 1, 1, 1, 1. Right? So we've got something like 14 digits. I guess not 14, we got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 digits up there. Okay? That's a pretty good size number, right? Now we're going to convert it to hex. Remember what I told you about the reason we use hex is you can express a half of a byte in a single hexadecimal digit. That means you can express 4 binary digits in 1 hex digit. Remember that? And that was the big purpose of it. And that was where I had shown y'all that if you went and took the number, the hex number that, and converted it, it became F. Okay? In base 16. And that's the biggest 4-digit number you can have in binary. Because 1s are your biggest number in binary, right? And so 4 1s would be the biggest 4-digit binary number you can have. Are you following that? It's sort of like 4 9s is the biggest decimal number we can have. 4 digits. Okay? F is the biggest single digit hexadecimal number we can have. Everybody agree on that one? So follow that principle. Okay? So with this, if we want to convert it to hex, here's the nice little trick that I got taught. We're not going to sit here and number all of these columns way on up there to whatever that is. So that's 10 columns, that's to 1,000. 6, 5, 12, to 1,024. Okay? We're not going to number columns all the way up to. We're going to split this thing into groups of 4. Okay? Now follow that. And then we're going to just work with each group and get our numbers over here in hex. So remember 1, 2, 4, 8. That's logical so far. Except now, the next group, we do the same thing. 1, 2, 4, 8. 1, 2, it would be 4, 8. Okay? Now, if you're looking at the real value of this, this hasn't got anything to do with it. This is just for conversion purposes that you do this into the groups of 4. Okay? Y'all follow on that? Because remember when you were converting it to decimal, we counted on up and then added up the ones that had 1s in them, and that gave us the number. Okay? So in this case, we can take this. There's 4 1s in there. So that's 1 in the 8s, 1 in the 4s, 1 in the 2s, and 1 in the 1s. So that's 8 plus 4 plus 2 plus 1. Should give us 15, and we know from looking right here that 15 sitting in there of those 4 of those, and knowing from over there that 15 is going to be an F, right? So we know we got an F there. I'll put it over here ultimately. This one, again, we do exactly the same thing on this next group. There's 1 in the 8s, 1 in the 4s, 1 in the 2s, and nothing in the 1s. So that's 8 plus 4 plus 2. So that should give us 14, which gives us what? E. Huh? E, right? This next one, we got a 1 in the 2s and nothing in the 1s, so that gives us 2, which gives us 2, right? We don't have to go full when you write letters because it's a single digit number. So there's our answer. We're doing X and green. So 2 E, F. Now follow on that? You didn't have to do a whole lot bigger numbers calculations. Just break it into the groups of 4. Now, let me mention one other thing on this though. Okay? If you've got a leading 0 here, reverse group off of it. I'll come back to that in a second. I realize I'm getting ahead of myself. Okay, questions on going from binary to hex. Break it down into groups of 4, and there's your each of their numbers. So we could have given you a binary number that was 23 digits long. It's 23 digits long. How many characters is it going to be in hex? Six. Those groups of 4. 5 of them would be 20 of the characters. I said 23, so there's 3 left over, so that's the 6 characters. So we know it's a 6 character hex number up there. And it's not anything complicated to do. You're really only working with groups of 4 on all the way along. So it's to a degree easier than the others. Okay? That's why I like it. Is that you're just doing back and forth right straight across all that. Okay? Now let's do one the opposite direction. So we're going to go from hex back to binary. I'm going to do 4F 3, 6. We're going to go with the big one right here. But it doesn't make any difference to us when we're doing hex to binary. Okay? When you're dealing with the other ways, yeah, this one will really get pretty. Okay? Because that's over 4,096. Okay, follow on that? It's 4 digits long. We're going to do it the same way over to here if we just went the other way. That tells us we're going to need 16 columns for it. In fact, this is a smaller number here that's not greater than 8 or greater. We really know it's going to be a little bit less than that. It's going to drop the column. It's going to be about a 16-digit column answer, okay? So I'm going to set up with all of those groups of 4. Because I know how many I need. One more. You got to follow on that? Now, which side do you start with? So we're going to start with the 4 or the C. Doesn't make any difference as long as I set it in the right spot over here. Okay? I'm going to normally start from the right and work back to the left. Okay? From most significant to the least. Okay? So from least significant to most significant. Anyway, I'm going to start from the one that you got pinned on back to 5 decimal. But you could just as easily, if you wanted to work it the other way, if it made more sense to you, work left to right, you can. No problem on it. And nobody will ever know that's what you do anyway, unless you get my job teaching up here or teaching somewhere else and then you're showing it. And then they're going to know which way you do. Because you may have a tendency to like to do, I like to work it right to left. You may like working everything you do from left to right. Okay. But when I'm dealing in numbers, I'm always typically working right to left. If I'm reading pages in the book, I'm reading going left to right, correct? However, if we were reading Hebrew, we do the dead opposite. Hebrew is actually read from right to left. Okay? See what the trivia things you learned in my class. So, I'm going to take the C. Wait a minute. C. I'm going to put that into those numbers. So I got to remember C is 12, right? And then I'm going to put 12 into there. Well, 8 will go into 12 one time, right? We'll subtract 8 from it, that leaves 4. 4 will go into 12, into 4 one time. Subtract it, leaves 0. Do I quit? If I got 0, do I quit now? No. I got to go ahead and put zeros in these other two columns. Okay? Because they're significant. All right, then we got 3, so I'm going to put it in here. Will 8 go into 3? It won't, will it? In this case, with this setup here, you have to put the 0 in. Okay? Otherwise, if it was really a real leading 0, you don't have to. This is not a leading 0. Does everybody follow on that? So I have to put that 0 there. And that's where I do want to warn you on, because with everything else you learned in math and what I said in previous examples, those leading zeros weren't significant. Okay, you can put them there or not put them there, it doesn't make any difference to it. Okay, unless it's a leading 0 on a zip code or on some ID number. Otherwise, leading zeros don't have significance. All right, 4 won't go into 3 either, so I got to put another 0. 2 will go into 3, so I'll put a 1, and 1 will, and subtract the 2 from the 3, that leaves 1, and 1 will go into 1, so there's my number. Not quite lined up with my column values, but you know what was wrong. Okay, because we want this just to be one solid number anyway. The next one is F. F is 15. I had it right here on the board, and what is it that I'm going to put in there? 15 or F goes to what in binary? It's 4 ones. Okay? Or when you sit here and we work it out. 8 from 15. 8 will go into 15 one time, so I'll put a 1. Subtract the 8, that means 7. 4 will go into 7 one time. Subtract the 4, that means 3. 2 will go into 3 one time. That leaves, subtract the 2, that leaves 1. And 1 will go into 1 one time. So we get that. Okay? Now we get to the last one. It's 4. 8 won't go into 4. It really is a real leading 0 here, so we can put it or not put it. If it's easier for you to remember always to fill the whole thing in, go ahead and put the 0. It doesn't change your answer. Okay? 4 will go into 4 one time. I'll put a 1. Subtract 4 from 4, that leaves 0. And then I'll put 0 in the 2s and 0 in the 1. So there is my answer. So 4F3C and hex converts to 1 0 0 1 1 1 1 0 0 1 1 1 1 1 0 0. I think I read that right. I may have got an extra 1 in there by mistake. And doing that, you can see the reason you would want it displayed out in this instead of this when you got a whole page of those numbers. We can find stuff from that. So you can see when we got to that whole group of 4 ones in a row each time, we started getting confused on which one we were on. And so it makes a whole lot of sense to use hex in that case. But if we want to know, we're going, okay, we know it's right in here. We can pull that F out and convert it to binary and know exactly what we're going to. It's actually the third position, and there's something crazy. We can then convert that one character to binary and go, okay, I know what's in the third position. It was supposed to be a 0 and there's a 1 there for some reason, so I got to get it fixed where that's got the right character right there. But you can do it programming. Okay? Any questions on that? Or if it's a network thing up there in here, you're looking at it coming across the wire and you see that and you're thinking that's supposed to be 0 there. But, somewhere something flipped that bit. Why did it flip it? And now I got to trace it back and figure out when did it occur, why did it occur. Because it just changed the amount of money that I was transferring from my bank account to her, that I was going to give her $50 today because she said she needed so much money. I was going to give him $50 also. She said he needed so much money too. When I went to do the transfer, lo and behold, it changed it to I transferred $55,000 each one. When y'all showed up for class next time, you probably aren't going to tell me about the fact that you got $55,000 from me. But you're going to smile at me in class a whole lot of times and tell your friends about what a great future I have, right? Except for the fact that it all bounced because I only had 52 cents in the account that I was transferring from. So you got bounce notices, or I got bounce notices, and there's something went haywire there. All right, questions on all that? We've converted both directions on everything. Now I say, if you can't remember how to take hex to binary, then that's what you'll do. But you remember how to take hex to decimal and decimal to binary, you can do that and you'll get that answer. Okay? It'd be best to know all 6 ways of doing this stuff, but if suddenly you're going, wait a minute, I'm getting totally confused right now on how in the world we did that going that way, you go ahead and take the long way around to do it. Okay? Sort of like if you suddenly realized after you need to Chattanooga, you forgot and the signs all got knocked down. And you went, well, I know how to get to Chattanooga if I go to Atlanta. So you proceed to set out, drive to Atlanta, and then drive to Chattanooga. It took a long way to get there, but you got there anyway. Okay? Right? And sometimes you do go to places that you do that. Not that quite extreme one on it, but you'll go, wait a minute, I know how if I go to this spot, then I can get there from there. But how do I get there from here? Well, what the heck? At worst, it's a couple of miles out of the way. I'll just go that other one. And you do that. And then when somebody asks you about how did you get here, and you tell them, it's a whole lot shorter. You just took this road across there. Well, that's the way I did it. Any questions on all that? Then it took about the same amount of time as I did in the morning class. I was working the clock back there. It's 5 minutes till 2. And so we're about 20 minutes early on this one, which is about what I told you when we started. Okay? If you hit problems on it on through the week, send me an email and just ask me on it. And I'll do the best I can on trying to do an explanation across the email. Or if you do some and you're going, wait a minute, did I do these correctly or not? But I found some problems. I'm not sure, I don't think it's out here on it, but I'll try to stick it back out there. I do have a problem booklet. It's probably actually over in the chapter or 2. It's probably over in the next chapter. That's got a number of problems already sitting there for you to convert back and forth, but it's got subnetting in it too, subnetting problems. The only problem is I don't have an answer sheet that I can give you, okay? Because the answer sheets I've got that were done for me, I had a student do them a few years ago for me, is handwritten on the form, which I scanned in as PDF. That was no problem for a long time. But with ADA compliance that we're so strict on here now. That's not readable by any of the screen readers. The other part was easy enough because it's a pure text thing. It was typed. But it's getting all of that typed in, and some of that gets a little bit more tricky because, like, here trying to show what you did, that gets tricky on trying to figure out how to type it in there and get it typed in. Have it there on showing some stuff on it. So I don't have the answer sheets typed in, so I'm not very glad. So they follow on that because JAWS and those other screen readers, JAWS being the biggest one, can't read that. I was supposed to, they were going to type that up for me. The secretary we had a few years ago was going to type it for me, and then she got promotion. First she got to that. So she gave me back all my materials, and we actually haven't had a secretary in the department since. I haven't had anyone else to hand it to. I'd like to get it typed up myself, but y'all know the problem with that one. Okay? And, I've got 3 million other things that are probably more time critical on it. So if I've got that out there, I may move it to this chapter also. Tell you can work on those. I'll have to look at them again. I may not need to actually do, but just give you the answer on them, type them in, and maybe I can do that very quickly. Maybe with no explanation, but I'm thinking I had explanations on or something. There was some reason on it, how it's written out, that was going to take a little bit more trouble to type it on. But I just can't picture that right at the moment, other than if I was going to get column values underneath some stuff. So I'll just have to look at that again and see. But I say I can give you the other, and that'll give you some to work from, so that you've got just some numbers to use. It's creepy. But remember, if you want to just check it yourself, just do it in reverse. So if it's here's a decimal number to convert to binary, do your conversion, and then sit there and convert that binary number back to decimal and see if you got the same number that you started with. If you did it right. If you didn't, there's a mistake somewhere in that circle. Now, whether it was going to binary or going back to decimal, you're not sure, but you know you made a mistake there. But you know if it matches back to what you originally started with, you know you've done it right. If you get it wrong, then you got to sit there and try to figure out what did I do wrong. And that may be where you may need to send me one and go, I've done this, and when I do it this way, I get this. When I do it back, I'm getting this, which is what I started with. And you tell me where I'm goofing out, and I can actually tell you on that. Because then I put column names on this here, right? Most likely realize how you made your mistake, but definitely be able to tell you. You should have had a 1 in the 8th column, and you got a 0. Okay? And I may well actually, as I'm looking at it, go, more than likely, this is what you did that caused this. Okay, any questions? And then I will see y'all on Tuesday, and we'll start on Module 6 then. There is no assignment in Module 5. Okay? And then the following week, you'll have test over Modules 4 through 7. Because first test over Modules 1 through 3. For some reason, I remember this one. Now, don't ask me which ones they are on the next test, but it's somewhere around 3 modules. I'm not sure if it's 8 through 10, or it might be 8 through 11, or just 8 through 9. It's 8 and something. And I'll see you then. Have a good weekend.